A blessed good morning and good day to everyone from the Caribbean and those around the world. Thank you for being on the call. My name is Maureen Brown and I'm from Barbados. I am your host today. Just a reminder of why we are here. Our founder, Dr. Rudra, has said we are learning today so we can lead tomorrow. What is One Academy? One Academy is an innovative e learning platform covering a broad range of financial topics, including trading, the stock exchange, cryptocurrency, financial analysis, asset management, and more. Our mission is to provide our students with the guidance and educational materials they need to achieve financial literacy. One Academy was developed by finance experts and academics. It is highly structured and easy to understand. You learn at your own pace and can be part of the future of global finance. This morning, we're going to be adopting a new format of presenting One Academy for the next 2 weeks. We will be presenting level one once again, and our intention is to give you a unique sense of understanding of straightforward facts that you can use immediately to enhance your daily lives as well as promote our core product, One Academy. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and they will be answered by our presenters. Also, we will allow one or two contributions at the end of the discussion. I still want to encourage you this morning to take copious notes despite the new format. The new format will consist of a discussion with two presenters, our familiar Mr. Dwayne Cadiz and Dr. Larry Pereira, who will take the lead. Gentlemen, the call is over to you.
A pleasant good morning to each and everyone, all One Academites, wherever you are. Always a pleasure to be on these calls, and hats off to you guys this morning. Excellent job hosting Miss Maureen Brown out of beautiful Barbados.
Indeed.
My co-host, Mr. Dwayne, or I should say it rather, Dr. Dwayne Cadiz. Good morning to you, sir.
Pleasant morning to you, sir.
And how are you this morning on this fine Monday morning?
Oh, I am trying, but God is good.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we are here despite whatever challenges. The mere fact that you are on this call this morning says something, and we respect your time. And we're going to be having, as Maureen Brown said, a very interesting format because we believe that knowledge not only is power, but applied knowledge is. So coming after these calls in the morning time, you must be able to take some of the information that you would have received on the One Academy calls and apply it immediately to your life. And that's really what it's all about. This morning, as we move forward, you would be seeing a screen in front of you. And this screen definitely is going to highlight the format in which we will be moving forward. Most importantly, we will be dealing specifically with many of these, the currency, money, what is fractional reserve. We will discuss a lot about purchasing power because purchasing power really and truly affects your pocket. It really affects what you do and how you spend it. I think somebody's mic is unmuted. Could you mute your mic, please? Moving forward, it's going to be very interesting as we engage this whole topic about money matters because it really is. The heart and soul is money. Money affects you. But here's what happens with money. We really have a loose definition as it relates to what is money and what is currency. So as we move forward now in lesson one, we are not going to read verbatim. We will be moving ahead by identifying the key components of level One Academy, taking those key elements, dissecting these key elements so that you, the listener, can take this information and really, apart from your copious notes, apply it in your real world. Mr. Cadiz, before we start, any opening remarks, sir?
Just the fact that we are indeed endeavoring to learn for profit. And as Dale Carnegie says, knowledge isn't power until it's applied. So until we've put what we've learned into practice, then we really haven't learned anything. So that's just an admonition for everyone on the call this morning. Seek to apply what you learn. Don't just take it for head knowledge because it won't benefit you there.
Excellent, sir. And moving right along into this morning's topic, we're just moving very quickly with some of the key points. Many persons may have been reading the beginning of the level 1, and you'd be seeing, well, of course, the Great Recession. All right. Of course, there's actually another flip to it. It's actually, there's something called the Great Depression. Now, the Great Depression, somebody had asked me this a couple of months back. They thought that it was in 1929. 1929 is when the Great Depression occurred. But when you hear the Great Recession, it really officially started. If you look at Wikipedia, they will tell you the symptomatic effects started back in 2000 and ended in 2010. So for all intents and purposes, it started in 2008, really in the United States, and then it affected the European Union. Of course, the recession, in many respects, and in every single country, wherever you are right now, would have, in fact, experienced a recession. And what happens in a recession? Things get out of control, prices move higher, and your purchasing power really goes down. And that is exactly what is taking place right now. The purchasing power of your currency is going down. So OneAcademites, this morning, what I want you to really remember, take from this call right now, is there is a difference in what you have in your pocket and what we term as money. What you have in your pocket is paper. It is called currency. But we have been using the word money and currency interchangeably. And I want you to understand that there is a difference between money and currency. Because when you understand the difference between what is money and what is currency, you will begin to understand a whole hidden meaning. So let's cap what currency really is. Currency is really not money. So true wealth, the purpose of us being on these calls is to be able to understand what we need to do in order to acquire wealth. Wealth is not just saving paper in the bank. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that saving money in the bank is a wrong thing. I'm saying that you cannot create wealth only out of paper, because your true wealth is basically your time and your freedom. What you are putting out this morning to be on this call is your time. Time, as many of you would have heard, is sometimes more valuable than money. You can get more money, as Jim Rohn rightfully said, but you can't get back more time. So money is a trading tool that stores the economic energy, your economic energy of time and freedom. Currency, on the other hand, leaks your time and freedom away. And that's what I want you to remember this morning, the difference between currency and money. Money appreciates over time. Currency loses value continuously. And I'm sure many of you would all be able to identify. I think somebody has their mic unmuted. Could you check that, Maureen, and see if the mic is unmuted there? Thank you. And as a result of this, you realize that you go to the supermarket, you buy things now, and even if you bought 5 or 10 items in the grocery every single month or every single week, you would not pay the same price. Did the prices just go up? There was a reason and a meaning hidden to that. What says you, Dr. Cadiz?
Well, most definitely, sir. We realize that there is a fundamental difference between fiat currency and actual money. Money is represented by precious metals, not even so much commodities or even real estate, because we would have gone through the OneAcademy and understood that real estate, although we put it in an asset class, is still subject to forces. For instance, if you do not pay your land and building tax in the jurisdiction which you live, you can run the risk of the government confiscating your property. So therefore, we understand that that cannot truly be a real asset in the real sense, but we see precious metals like silver and gold being a store of value, having intrinsic value. And over a period of time, over a number of years, we have seen the progress and the value appreciation of those particular assets.
Can you define for everyone listening here on this call, what is by definition an asset?
An asset, sir, is something that adds value to your life. Basically, it creates cash flow for you as an individual. And basically, that fundamentally is what an asset is.
Okay, so what are some of the assets? I know we are actually precluding some of this before we actually go forward. What, in your opinion, really stands out as a true asset?
As a true asset, sir, I want to believe, and I am convinced, rather, that precious metals in this dispensation represents the best asset class that one could consider, as well as cryptocurrency. And the reason, the rationale behind that is when you look at the economic side of things, you would see when fiat currencies are being affected by inflation, you recognize that precious metals are just the opposite. As a matter of fact, they rise in value when the fiat currencies of the world start basically seeing the effects of inflation and so on. So
Indeed. Indeed, very well said, sir. And as we move forward with what Dr. Cadiz would have just said, we must understand that we have to really get this understanding clear in our minds as it relates to what are the asset classes that we really should be investing in right now. Not at the ending of the year, but we should begin that process right now. Why? Because in the event of an economic turmoil or a disaster, which can happen almost any time, it means that if you acquire the wrong kind of assets, as you're seeing on the screen, you will be punished severely. Now, punished severely, some people might say, well, it's okay, I could be punished, but what really is punished? Punished means becoming broke. And really and truly, that's not the type of punishment that you'd really want. So there are several ways in which we can now diversify. I would let Dr. Cadiz explain to us what are the 4 asset types, Dr. Cadiz, that we really should be paying attention right now as OneAcademites on these calls.
well, in particular, we are looking at the precious metals markets as it relates to gold. We're also looking at silver as another option in the precious metal markets. We are looking at real estate and cryptocurrency, which is the new and emerging market that we are being educated about, because when I looked at coinmarket.com, when you look at the ceiling caps for the cryptocurrencies that are there at this point in time, you have, I'd say, at least the first 13 cryptocurrencies that are being traded in the billions of dollars at this point in time. And then there are a few just a little lower down that are being traded in the millions. So understanding those principles as it relates to cryptocurrency, silver and gold, and real estate as well, we see that that is a viable option.
Indeed, sir. And I would really want to bring up this slide here just for everyone to see that for the last 7 years, gold has predominantly outperformed the Dow Jones Industrial Average by over 300%. So it really adds value to say that gold and silver has been outperforming the Dow Jones Industrial Average for the last 7 years. And if we would look at some of the gold prices performance on an annual percentage for all major currencies trading on the FX market, the Forex market, you'd realize that gold has outperformed every single fiat currency by approximately 10%. And because gold has performed or outperformed all the major currencies of the world, it shows conclusive evidence that we need to acquire this precious metal as part of our diversification drive in terms of building a portfolio. All right, so this is ample evidence that gold is not just a shiny metal that you wear around your neck, or you may probably keep in your wallet, or you may adorn your houses with. It is much more than that. Gold is definitely, and silver is going to be a main store of value. And remember, by definition, what did we say about assets? An asset is anything that stores value. Remember, what is value? It's your economic energy, it's your time and your freedom. That's really what it is. But you want, in the not too distant future, that all your time and your energy and your economic activity stored in a particular classes of assets that can help serve you greatly moving forward. because in 2018, we are going to see ample evidence of more financial turmoil that's happening on the international markets. Just about a month and maybe a quarter ago, the Dow Jones actually had a small crash on Monday where it dropped by 1,000%. For those of you who may have experienced a 1,000% drop, you can become bankrupt in a situation like that. In my opinion, it definitely was a trial run as it relates to things to come. So we are living in a volatile world. There are a lot of geopolitical events that are far bigger and affect our tiny Caribbean countries. And of course, if you're living outside the Caribbean, doesn't matter, Zimbabwe, Netherlands, wherever, we are all affected by major global events. So we need to start this ball rolling as it relates to how we can actually change this. As rightfully said in the OneAcademy manual, right out of it, you said one should not keep all their eggs in one basket. Whether you eat eggs or not is not the issue. The point is that you don't want to put all your assets in one particular basket, meaning in terms of your portfolio. You want to have, OneAcademites, diversification. And I must stress that word. Write it down. If you're taking notes right now, write it down. Diversification will save your life. So when you really look at the 4 asset classes, as Dr. Cadiz would have said, we have land being one of them. As someone rightfully said, that backland today is frontland tomorrow. All right, because I'm sure many of you would see ample evidence of land that had a lot of bush 5 years ago, and suddenly now there are mega complexes and malls, and ample evidence of that here, even in my own country, in Trinidad. Of course, wherever you are, I'm sure you would also see signs of that. So as they say, land doesn't really rot, you know, it just stays there and gain value over time. So that's something you really want to pay attention. We already identified that gold has outperformed the market by well over 10% on all major Forex currencies. That speaks volumes because it shows that it is a store of value. Silver also is trading now at $17 an ounce of silver. So definitely you'd want to really consider getting silver as part of your portfolio. And now we're proud because we're all One Lifers. And even if you haven't been part of the organization just yet and you're listening in, of course, you'd want to be part of this dynamic organization and get the information about cryptocurrencies. Because Dr. Ruja rightfully said that we must have a portfolio of cryptocurrencies. All right, so we need knowledge as it relates to how we can do that. We are going to be discussing how we're going to acquire cryptocurrencies moving forward, because I think the whole dynamics of OneAcademy is to apply specific knowledge so that what you can remember coming out of this call that you can actually apply. So when you really look at gold and how it's performing, we take ourselves back to what has happened in this Great Recession. In this Great Recession, we recognize that it all started back in 2007, in 2008, by a financial institution called Lehman Brothers. For those who are not familiar with what Lehman Brothers is, it's the 4th largest investment bank in the world. And when the 4th largest investment bank is heavily inflated by debt and fails and causes systemic risk, which is what we would have discussed many times in the OneAcademy, it creates a domino effect. And in fact, it has affected the world. So what would have created a $1 trillion loss in the United States accounted for over $63 trillion in problematics over the rest of the world, especially in Europe, Africa, Asia, have all felt this. Why? Because the United States, apart from China, which is now the fastest growing economy in the world, is in fact affected because everybody uses the US dollar. Still, but of course, that dynamics is changing. So when you really look at what has happened in 2007 with Lehman Brothers, this started, and a lot of people lost their houses, a lot of people lost their entire life savings. You might be saying, well, that's in the United States. That can happen to you, OneAcademites, if you do not structure your portfolio in a particular way. So the central banks of the world are continuing to print more and more money. Yes, they do. It might sound hard to believe, but every single central bank has the authority through their monetary policy to print. They don't print money using a photocopier machine. It's a complex mechanisms of government bonds and treasuries and different things that they legally can do it. All right. And they do. And the effects of that is the debasement of one's currency. When you go to the supermarket, when you buy goods and services, and you're paying more for less, that is evidence of continued debasement. And it will continue, and it will continue until the system can no longer sustain it. The Federal Reserve is over $20 trillion, close to $20 trillion in debt. And what does that mean? It means that they are never going to be able to pay that back. But guess what? What happens in a bubble? When a bubble keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, what happens? It's going to pop. The question is when is it going to pop? My other question that I want to ask you is, are you prepared when this bubble bursts or pops that you will still be safe and sound? So while you cannot account for every single thing that's happened in your life, you definitely need some form of protection. What says you, Mr. Cadiz?
Most definitely, sir. We cannot be naive to the effects of inflation, more so hyperinflation. Hoping that I'm not preempting some information here, but we look to our neighbor, close by neighbors, which is Venezuela, and the hyperinflation that they are experiencing at this point in time. And we realize that, listen, as the old colloquial saying goes in Trinidad and Tobago, when your neighbor's house is on fire, you need to wet yours. Meaning here that we needn't be ignorant of hyperinflation and its effects, and in an effort to mitigate the risk, because we would have learned about that in level 1, mitigating risk. Diversification is necessary because, as you said, putting all your eggs or all your financial assets in one particular place leaves you more at risk if you are not diversified. So definitely, sir, point to be taken and noted here today.
Absolutely. And if you're looking at page 8 on your manual, of course, some manuals might be slightly different based on the time you would have downloaded it, but you know what I mean. In essence, it's the same thing we're talking about. So the printing presses of the central banks are running. If you didn't know that, now you do. It's really amazing. And every time that happens, it affects the purchasing power of the dollar. And what does that mean? It means that, according to our lecturer here, he says that it seems that every central banker probably is reading from the same cookbook, but because they all do the same thing. And the purpose of why they manipulate currency is so that they now can have control over headline inflation. Inflation is a direct result of printing money. The more money that's in circulation, the higher the rate of inflation. And that's something that always interplays itself. It's a very highly complex web, which is too much to discuss within the time frame allotted here in the morning. But of course, it's something that you'd want to read. I want to give you some websites here before we kind of move forward. We have about at least 10 minutes before we wrap up this morning's call. I'm sure you're enjoying it wherever you are. If you're driving and you're listening, I am happy that you are. And of course, if you're listening and you're tuning in, of course, this call is recorded. So of course, you can actually go back to it and maybe get some more information so that you can go back to your manual, give you some excitement, some drive, some reasons why you need to go into your OneAcademy and pay attention to what information has been said. Because really and truly, it has about 60 pages thereabouts in the level 1 academy. But the information that's condensed, you would have had to go to several different books in order to get this information all in one place. So it is very, very relevant. All right. So when you really consider what's happening in the world today with central banks, the loss of your purchasing power, we begin to see the trend. And we spent a lot of time this morning talking about currency and money. And I hope you begin to grasp the concept that you cannot create wealth with paper alone. It is a combination of assets put together. And that's where the 3%ers of the world really understand this, that wealth is not based on paper. All cultures of the world agree that real wealth is not measured by paper. It is measured by gold, silver, jewelry. All cultures agree that some form of commodity originally has value. For some reason, someone sold us this idea, this insane idea, that money is paper. And this is the first understanding and realization this morning, OneAcademites, of where you need to move away from, that you need to find a balance as it relates to money, commodity, assets, so that you can build now and compound. Why do you need to invest? The reason why you need to invest is that investments give you a higher rate of a return as opposed to the rate of inflation. If you are saving money and you're getting less than what inflation is giving you, well, then it's not making sense. So that's why you need assets, so that you can override the negative effects of inflation, which is another fancy word for robbing you of your time and your energy and your freedom. That's what inflation does. It's something that's deliberately done by governments so that they now can have the advantage. So they use debt to create that advantage. Sounds really hard to believe, but unfortunately, it is what it is. I would advise you to really go on YouTube and listen to Mike Maloney's the 7-part series, The Hidden Secrets of Money. So if you're listening to this call for the first time, or you may have forgotten some of that information, you need to go listen to Mike Maloney, The Hidden Secrets of Money. He actually has a lot of other series about cryptocurrency, so you can start the process there. Another reference tool that has helped me tremendously in my tenure here with OneAcademy is Investopedia.com. Yes, Investopedia.com helps you to really clarify some of the complex terms that we sometimes read in these manuals and we really don't have a clue what it is. It really gives you visual together with reading material that you can use as your compendium. It's like a student compendium, and you can actually use that. All right. So that's very important. Mike Maloney, The Hidden Secrets of Money, and then Investopedia.com to help you understand some of the intricacies of learning. If you want to participate in this new global economy, you have to be willing to learn. Learning is a lifetime. It's a lifelong skill that you need to develop. Many people might say, well, I've studied all my life. Yes, you studied all your life and you're probably broke still. We're not talking about that. We're talking about studying so that you can come out of this never-ending cycle, this treadmill cycle of running heavy to work on a Monday and then feeling pumped up on Friday, enjoying the weekend, and then you hate to go to work on Monday. Do you know that most heart attacks actually occur on Monday morning before 9 a.m. in the morning all over the world? What's your opinion on that, Dr. Cadiz?
Definitely. Thank you, Dr. Larry, for allowing me to shine in, because with your build-up, with your preamble there, something really came to mind. And I would like each and every person on the call this morning to really take stock of what's happening globally. Because of blockchain technology, the world as we know it is being changed day by day through the effects of blockchain technology. Certain career paths that are now having notoriety will soon become a thing of the past. And what we need to know in this time is that we need to restructure, we need to revise, we need to retool in order to survive in the new and emerging economy that's happening, because we are going digital, folks. And believe it or not, a lot of the educational pursuits that a lot of people are going after right now will become redundant in the not too distant future. And you have an opportunity, and this is why we say that the call is so important, to invite other persons who are not even involved in the One Life business. Because listen, to be forewarned is to be forearmed. And we want to let you guys know that not only money is changing, but the world is changing through technology. It's changing so fast, and we don't even realize or recognize it. And you have the ability now to be able to retool, rethink your position, and be able to reset now and position yourself even better for the new and emerging technological market that's happening, that is blockchain, and it's affecting every facet of human life. So if it is that you can be able to get foreknowledge of a disaster before it happens, wouldn't you appreciate that? So this is why we're saying the OneAcademy message, the One Life message needs to be preached. And that is the reason why we are here on these calls, because we want to be of what would it mean for you to get a heads up and you don't do anything about it? Then you'd be wasting that information. And this is what we're trying to get out to persons who are involved in the One Life business, that the information that we're giving you guys here is not just about selling a package. It's about affecting lives. If people understand where the technological changes are coming and how they can restructure and reshape and reposition themselves to be successful, then definitely we need to do that. Thanks, Dr. Larry.
Absolutely. And now we're wrapping up because it's already 6:30. We want to wrap up. We want to just maybe, if you have some questions, you can put it in the chat box. And I think we maybe might have time just to take about maybe 2 or 3 calls this morning maximum. So you want to be out before 6:45. All right. Somebody, can you please mute your mic, please? Thank you. All right. So as we wrap up here, our neighbor, as Dr. Kiddies would have said, the 4th largest producer of oil in the world. Just a couple of months ago, en route to Panama on a conference with One Life, we had the opportunity to be there just for about a day and a half, going and coming back. And I was shocked out of my mind when I asked the guy, can we convert some of our US into local currency? He says, sir, senor, it's actually not a very good idea because we're currently at about a 48,000 bolivar to $1 US. So if we had to give you all this money, you would have to walk with bags and bags. Imagine the 4th largest oil producer in the world reduced to almost nothing in their rate of exchange. Think about it for a moment. Yesterday, I was going through some of this material, and I was so shocked to realize, do you know that 10 US dollars is equivalent to 100,000 Venezuelan bolivars? That is the effect of purchasing power when it gets out of control. It's called hyperinflation. That's when nothing makes sense anymore. That's when people are going to have to flee their country because they want a better life. That's when you're going to have to lose your mind. That's what happens when everything has been taken away from you, not because you were careless or reckless, but because governments, in many attempts, they actually experiment on so many economics and all these different concepts that they use, and cause us, the population, to suffer simply because of that. And I think it's time now that everyone in this call accept full responsibility that we do have the knowledge, we do have the system, we do know where cryptocurrency is going, and we must. It is paramount importance, OneAcademites, that you take this information to heart. This is serious business. You understand? And if for those who are on this call that take this business to heart, when the ending of the year happens and some interesting things happen in the One Life Network, you will be happy that you did gravitate to this type of information, so that you now can take some of the capital appreciation that you're going to receive from really using these assets like cryptocurrencies to apply into your life. Because if you don't, even if you're in the right place and you don't have the knowledge, here's what's going to happen. You're going to have capital appreciation. You're going to still have the lottery mentality and be broke in less than a year or two by acquiring money. So you remember, it's not about how much money you make in the long run. It's how much money you keep. It's the velocity of money. We're going to talk a little bit about velocity of money tomorrow as we continue our extensive coverage in the Level 1 OneAcademy together with my co-host, Miss Maureen Brown out of beautiful Barbados, and by extension, Dr. Kadies, who is out of Trinidad, just like myself, and we're just I'm just enjoying this because it is important. We must have this conversation. We must have the discussion. That's why we call it OneAcademy discussion, guys. So tune in tomorrow. We're going to wrap up. It's now 6:33. So this is where I say it's been a pleasure being on this call. I'm going to be back tomorrow morning where we continue this drive to help you. When you come off this call and you take a taxi, you're going to your car, you're going to wherever, you now can have this information at hand. Remember, knowledge is not power unless it's applied. Thank you so much, Mr. Kadies. Your closing remarks. Then we bring out lovely Maureen to wrap up the call.
Indeed, Dr. Larry. Definitely, I think we have really engaged OneAcademy information on a new level. I think that persons would recognize now that you have a responsibility. We've always been saying that, but as the time draws closer and closer, we recognize that we have more of a responsibility to educate the masses out there. And it's not just about selling a package. We are letting people know what is happening. There is a technological revolution that is happening as it relates to blockchain technology. There is an avalanche or a tidal wave of change that is happening in industries cross-section across the world, across the globe. And you need to understand how to reposition yourself. You need to understand how to utilize the information and the education that is being shared on these calls in order for you to create different asset classes, in order for you to diversify so that you can survive the financial storms that are due to come. So definitely, thank you, Dr. Larry, for the privilege. Thank you, Maureen, for facilitating us, for that beautiful preamble that you gave this morning to the call. Thank you, Dr. Larry.
Thank you, Dwayne, and thank you, Dr. Larry. We're going to take at least 2 contributions this morning, and without any further ado, I would like to unmute, I believe that is Ruchen Dual. I don't know if I'm calling your name correctly, but I have unmuted your mic, and I would love to have a contribution from you this morning.
Yes, good morning, fellow OneAcademites. Morning to Mr. Larry. Thank you, Mr. Cadiz, and thank you, Miss Maureen. So, yeah, the past few weeks, like I said, this community, this OneAcademy is really amazing because we're learning and learning each and every day. And like Mr. Larry says, knowledge is power, but it's only power when we apply it. So you can learn 10,000 things, but if you don't apply it in your life and make it your own, you won't go anywhere. So I would like to say this to each and everyone because we sometimes have people that say, yeah, I don't want to be part of this pyramid thing. And I only say one thing. What is a pyramid? A pyramid is one of the world's 7 wonders. So this network marketing system, they created it and it has a structure like a pyramid. But we need to understand that when you follow this system and apply this system in doing just the second part of this job, this system will eventually award you like one of the world's 7 wonders. It can be your own world wonder. So if people say, I don't want to be part of this pyramid thing, just explain to them that a pyramid is one of the world's 7 wonders. And even when a storm or a wind is blowing, nothing can bring it down. So when you build your team, build your network, build it like a pyramid. Yes, build it like that, because when you believe in the system and follow the system, you will be unbeatable. Nothing can bring you down. Nothing can bring your network down. So I don't mind people saying that because I now understand what a pyramid is. A system, they created this system like very powerful, and it is proven that more than 40 years that network marketing is the best and most paid job. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Ruan. And I'm going to take another person. I'm seeing a Sarah Lou, I believe. I'm going to unmute your mic. Sarah, I'm not able to do that. Could you unmute your mic and shine in this morning? Sarah? Okay, I am not getting a response from Sarah, so I'm going to move along to...
Yes, good morning.
Hello, Sarah? Go ahead, Sarah.
Well, so Well, this morning I don't have a lot to contribute, just that I am still learning, I am still applying, and yes, that this is a great opportunity that a lot of people misunderstand this concept, but mostly due to lack of information, some lack of interest, but I don't really focus on that. I focus on the people that want to know more and are interested and do come to the meetings to know more. So, yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm glad that you're pushing on and not letting those who are not interested deter you. Thank you for that. We do appreciate you and that. I think I can take one more call. And I saw a very distinguished person on the call. And he seemed to have run away. I thought I saw Alvin Morton, who has, okay, he's not there anymore. Okay, I'm seeing an iPhone. iPhone, I don't know who you are, but we would love to hear from you. I'm going to unmute your mic. Would you shine in this morning, please? iPhone? Good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, I don't think I am getting him. Jamelia Beal. I'm going to unmute. Hello, good morning, Jamelia. I would love to hear from you.
Hi, good morning.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, for me, it's just nothing from the last update besides, making sure I'm on the calls every day, listening to get the knowledge to apply as well. Um, I've already been telling other friends and family about it as well. So right now, we're just doing what is necessary to be done and enjoy the fruits of the labor when that time comes. That's just about it.
Thank you so much, Jamelia. I want to say thanks to everybody who made the sacrifice to be on the call. At one point in time, we had actually 29 persons on the call. Wow, that's record. I hope you're enjoying this new format. I hope you will take the time to make the copious notes, and those of you who have not been certified as yet at level 1 will use this opportunity to really get certified. I hope the information today you can take immediately and apply it to your life. It's about diversification. It's about it's about educating yourself so that you can prepare yourself for the future, as well as your family, your loved ones, and your friends. So without any further ado, we would have found out what's the difference between money and currency. We're wiser today. We remember that money appreciates over time, currency loses time. We remember that our true wealth is our freedom and our time. OneAcademites, thank you so much for being here and making the sacrifice. Have yourself a wonderful, productive One Life Day. This call will now, I am seeing, okay. I think Clifton is saying to everyone, let's start maxing out these calls. Yes, please be reminded to invite friends, family, loved ones. They don't have to be a part. They just have to come and get the information. They can make a decision down the road to join us, but be on the calls. So without any further ado, I want to say thank you once again to each and every one of you. Have a wonderful and a great day. This call will now end. Bye-bye.